50-some seconds, going to go live.
Yes, it's a good Wednesday. It's going to be a good show. Jazz is with us today.
Yeah, Jasmine. Yeah. I can't do it this weekend because I'm out of town, but I want to come to your Saturday night show.
Please do. It's a great time. Really fun.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
We'll go on a couple Saturdays. We'll go.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's do it.
Next week after the AIDS Walk.
Yes.
Speaking of the AIDS Walk, Peter Povoli is here with us from AHF.
It's incredible what they do. I had no idea.
Dollar for dollar
Wow.
match. Great supporter of the community. And apparently he sticks a lot of shots and a lot of butts. We'll explore that.
Of course he does. Let's do this.
All right, we're going to tell some good news.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Well, welcome to Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only LGBTQ daily evening news. It's time to queer up the news. It's 7 p.m., Wednesday, April 14th, and we are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight. The world's first live daily queer evening news show. Out of the closet and into the headlines on Q News Tonight.
Thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ evening news show. Whatever happens, you will see it.
This evening, we bring you the news of and perspective representing the LGBTQ community from South Florida, America, and across our planet.
I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Al Ferguson, and let's welcome anchor FayWhat. She's out, she's proud, and she's most certainly, we all know, loud.
Just a little.
She's a Latina to be reckoned with, half Puerto Rican, half Colombian, 100% freaking Jersey. There's a lot of labels here. She is a radio personality and has the popular blog and YouTube channel aiming to unite the L and the G together. She's a hostess and an MC for many South Florida events, a board member at Unity Coalition, and host of UCTV's television show. She is owner of Fays for Family and is the anchor of the travel news show Happening Out Travel. Good evening, Faye.
Good evening. Hola, mi gente. Happy to be here.
And next, let's welcome anchor Jasmine Pryce Lords. First time in the anchor seat at Queer News Tonight. She is known as the plus-sized Barbie. Love that. And a bearded beauty drag queen. She is the mother of the iconic House of Lords, heart of the 26-year history for South Florida's ballroom scene. You can also see her every Saturday night as host of Georgie's Alibi's Saturday Night Rewind. Good evening, Jasmine.
Good evening, everyone. Hello.
It's going to be fun. Well, tonight we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Wednesday, April 14. Let's begin by queer up politics. President Biden just picked this gay to defend the borders of America. Continuing his campaign promise to have the most diverse cabinet in history, President Joe Biden has named former Richmond, California, and Tucson, Arizona Chief of Police Chris Magnus as Commissioner of the Customs and Border Protection Agency. Magnus is an openly gay man and historic first to be nominated to this position. A White House spokesman said, quote, "During his time in Richmond, Magnus played a key role in rebuilding community trust in law enforcement and dramatically reducing the number of shootings and homicides. In Tucson, Magnus implemented de-escalation training, sentinel event review processes, and programs to promote officer health and wellness," end quote. Magnus is 60 years old, already holds another first distinction under his belt. The San Francisco Chronicle reports that he is also the first openly gay police chief in America to marry. Magnus and his husband, Terrence Chung, were married in 2014. As police chief in Richmond, he improved community relations with police during his tenure, and the homicide rate in the city fell from 38 homicides in 2006 to just 11 in 2014, prompting the Obama Justice Department to appoint him the special investigator in police misconduct in Ferguson, Missouri. He also made headlines in 2014 when a picture of him taking part in a hashtag Black Lives Matter protest holding a sign of support went viral on the internet. If confirmed, Magnus will inherit an ongoing border crisis in the United States as thousands of migrants have rushed the nation's southern border in hopes of entering the country. History is now made, as an LGBTQ representative will be the lead as one of America's most significant problems, and one that Donald Trump and other radical Republicans have made the campaign issue for 2022 and 2024.
Woohoo, gays! We're incredible. Did you also know, guys, about that last year he declined a grant that was given to police departments that were helping the feds at the border because he wanted to use some of that money to help some of the migrants, and the Trump administration wouldn't allow him to. So he gave them a finger and said, screw you and your money, and declined the grant. This guy's exceptional, man.
Love it. How exciting. It's great to see another gay person in a different light. Yes, we love being drag and fabulous, but you don't have to just be this. There's so much more, and I love that we're highlighting another type of way you could be gay out and proud.
That's right. Our Secretary of Transportation and now our Assistant Secretary of Health. Move over, guys. We have another. And what's really exciting about this is, I don't know if you remember the Trump administration CPB representative, but he was quite a opponent to LGBTQ rights, and he was quite aggressive on the border. To have this representative in a more gentle touch and representing our community, I think is absolutely a soundbite of what the Biden administration and the Biden-Harris administration really is all about. It's awesome news.
Next, we queer up gay culture. Moscow's photographer Stas Vokman brings classic nude photos to LGBTQ America. Let's go to Moscow! It can be a scary place if you are LGBTQ. Happening Out Television Network continues to focus on our LGBTQ culture with photographers, authors, books, painters, and other types of artists. At Queer News Tonight, we continue to support and bring your attention to Stas Vokman. He is based in Moscow, in a city and country where Vladimir Putin has recently outlawed gays. Like all gay, no rainbow flags, no gay propaganda, no pride parades, no LGBTQ at all. So obviously, queer culture in Russia is very difficult, but not impossible. So when photographer Stas Vokman introduces a new series of classic nude photos to LGBTQ America, it continues to demand our attention. Not just because of the beautiful images and Vokman's incredible artful eye, but for what he must endure to even display his art. In a place that is almost third world in their thinking and in the toxic masculinity in their view of LGBTQ. As such, Vokman displays through OnlyFans. It is a way to have the business of his photography, but to accomplish it in a more secretive way for the LGBTQ community in Russia and therefore around the world to see his art. Vokman has many focused themes. He is prolific in his topics and subjects. Happening Out Television Network and all of LGBTQ America are fans, and we continue to express our voice to our brothers and sisters in LGBTQ Russia that you are not alone. We understand your plight. Support Stas Vokman at OnlyFans or on his Instagram and Facebook social medias. The LGBTQ community in Russia represents all of us.
That is so amazing. I love how creative, if there's a will, there's a way. And I love how, this is amazing. I love that.
Yeah. I agree from the standpoint, I'm very proud to even be sitting at this table to tell this story, because it's really important. We go to bed every night with what we're watching in America since the Biden-Harris administration have come to power after our 4 years in Trump. But even worse than what Trump was is Vladimir Putin and Russia. So we go to bed at night not realizing what the LGBTQ community is facing in Russia. And I love our embracement of this story. And also, I'm not regularly one saying, oh, go to OnlyFans. In this instance, I am very proud to say, oh, go to OnlyFans. It's a wonderful story, and tops in this, the photography is beautiful, but tops in this is it is an opportunity for us to embrace the LGBTQ community and Mother Russia, that we're with you, at least in spirit, if nothing else.
Guys, Vokman has bolas. Can I say that?
Right.
He's got cojones because, wow, I mean, what he has to endure to get these pictures. And I read somewhere that he found the male models in strip clubs, in male strip clubs, because they were the easiest to say, yeah, let's do it, you know? And the photography is amazing.
Yeah. Now it's like 5:30 a.m. in Moscow, and Stas right now is using his Russian-Spanish dictionary to try to figure out what you just said about him. That's funny.
Let's queer up South Florida. Hunter's AirOtic now means unique support of Broward House. It's been a tough year for our LGBTQ nonprofits because of COVID-19 pandemic. This fact has never been clearer as one of South Florida's most important HRV and LGBTQ health service providers. Broward House has their annual April Dining Out for Life, generally one of their most important fundraisers of the year. Many South Florida restaurants support Broward House with your dining out. But what happens when restaurants are hit as hard as our nonprofits? Dining Out for Life is happening, but this year, a donation is asked for as opposed to taking it out of restaurants' profits.
So when Mark Hunter and Hunter's Nightclub said, quote, we're giving 100% of the proceeds for Broward House Dining Out for Life in the month of April, and quote, well, it got our attention. Hunter's has created a special cocktail called AirOtic. Named after the incredible weekly show that is held at Hunter's. The show was created and stars Stephanie Hafner and Kyle Keir, described as a sexy and sensual circus-style show using physique, strength, burlesque, and acrobatics to break the fourth wall. The show shares a story of love, passion, sexuality, and eroticism. So this special cocktail created called AirOtic is just as sexy, and for various reasons. First, the delicious concoction is vodka, fresh muddled lime, lemon, mint and orange, ginger essence, and simple syrup. But more important, 100% of the proceeds of the cocktail will be donated back to Broward House Dining Out for Life campaign.
Very interesting. Everyone at Queer News Tonight thinks this is a perfect reflection of overcoming the adversity of pandemic. You have until April 30th to go to Hunter's and enjoy, let's see if I can do it, AirOtic.
You did it! Yes!
So when you do, 100% of the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds of the drink will help our LGBTQ community, and in so many unique ways.
The Broward House is a powerhouse. They help so many people. And like many other organizations that were hit so hard because of the pandemic, they've had to pivot. And here's Hunter's jumping on board to help them, you know? I mean, and the dining out every year has been fantastic. And I was wondering what they would do this year.
Yeah.
So, AirOtic.
I want more to see the show or to try the drink. But either way, I'll be supporting Hunter's.
A little from column A, a little from column B.
Well, I mean, Hunter's, even throughout the pandemic, they were doing food drives, they were giving away food. They continue to support the community, and I definitely be going and trying some of their AirOtic
Yes!
cocktails.
I love the incorporation of the new drink name. It sounds delicious, to be honest with you. I applaud Hunter's. What a really great idea. And Broward House needs it. This month, we have approximately 2.5 weeks left. They need it. 100% of your drink goes to Broward House during April's traditional Dining Out for Life. It's a perfect implementation of saying, screw pandemic, this is how we're going to beat you. It's great.
AirOtic. So that is our queer headlines for today. So let's catch up on the LGBTQ news surrounding COVID-19 with our special segment called Quarantine Quickies. Queer News Tonight has been LGBTQ America's most important news source on the pandemic, as we have reported on coronavirus on every news broadcast since January 6, 2020.
Tonight, we report the devastating effect coronavirus has had on the American and worldwide LGBTQ community in total cases and deaths. We also provide hope of a new light at the end of this tunnel, this long, long, long tunnel. As of tonight, more than 225 million 2,245 LGBTQ Americans have contracted COVID-19, and more than 40,000 LGBTQ Americans have died from coronavirus. As of today, more than 192 million vaccination doses have been administered in the U.S.
Let's queer up quarantine quickies. This week in COVID history, never forget April 15, 2020. It's mid-April 2020. You know, the olden days. Mad King Donald was telling us all, look away, there's nothing to see here. So we thought we would take a moment to look back. We asked our special correspondent, Jimmy Kimmel, to help us remember what just 12 months ago was like. Watch this.
Well, so let's continue with quarantine quickies. LGBTQ vaccine hesitancy could be disastrous for America. The CDC decision to pause the Johnson & Johnson vaccine could have dramatically more negative effects on the LGBTQ community beyond availability of vaccine. The vaccine has been paused because of a blood clot reported in 6 cases, all women. This is out of more than 7 million Johnson & Johnson vaccinations. The blood clot is treatable. In the last 24 hours, one of the top Google searches in the world relates to a single term, vaccine hesitancy. Today, a new statement in the American medical community suggests that the fear the Johnson & Johnson news will have is extremely serious. Medical professionals sounded an alarm that vaccine hesitancy could seriously threaten efforts to stop the pandemic because of increased possibilities of mutations of the virus that would not be prevented by current vaccines. The medical community blames vaccine hesitancy on the controversy, misinformation, a lack of confidence surrounding the vaccine trial data, anxiety about vaccine safety, and historical mistrust of the medical establishment due to current or past negative treatment. The report, interestingly enough, pointed out the important differences between people who are vaccine hesitant versus people who are anti-vaccine. Anti-vaxxers are activists who deliberately spread misinformation. The report concluded that vaccine hesitancy could cripple global efforts to stop the pandemic. New polls before the Johnson & Johnson vaccine news showed there was a 56.9% average acceptance rate in the United States. Medical professionals' top recommendation to overcome vaccine hesitancy is education and compassion to feelings, to overcome objections and fear.
That is crazy. I mean, I think it's, interesting how it's only 6 cases. They're taking it seriously and they're, trying to protect people. It was only 6 women, but still, it was, I'm sure their families feel differently than it just being 6 women, right? It's them.
It's interesting to me, a couple of points. There was no medical procedure, there's no drug, there's no nothing that is 100% foolproof. And what we're watching out of 7 million injections is the low number. Well, let's say it was 300, not 6, 300. My goodness, it's a medical miracle in the speed and the time that this has been implemented. This is really going to be the issue that is before the LGBTQ community for the rest of the year, because we cannot solve the pandemic unless we vaccinate. It's as simple as that. And if we reject vaccination, it's not your right that is really significantly at play. What is at play is the possibility that there was a mutation developed because you didn't get the vaccine, and that mutation will be resistant to the vaccines that exist. So their warning, I think, is really, really on point. We must try to compassionately talk about overcoming vaccine hesitancy, because it's going to have medical effect on all of us, whether we've had vaccine or whether we have not.
Why those 6 women have to go on and get a clot? I mean, come on. And it's so funny because it's like we choose to find the negative in it. There was 6 women out of 7 million. 6 women, that's it. And we're just like, nope, it's going to happen to me. Nope, not going to do it. I mean, look at any single medication that anybody takes. It's got a laundry list of side effects.
Right.
A laundry list, okay? These are miracle vaccines. Yeah. This is how we go back to normal, people. We don't need a reason to go 3 steps back when we're finally seeing the light. Education, education, education.
Right.
Amen. So that is our COVID-19 news for tonight. Next, we report that Happening Out Television Network is passionate about our support for the LGBTQ community. An example is Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale.
We are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine in supporting that partnership. The network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ religious broadcast in the world, with more than 30,000 watching every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and it's totally live. We encourage you to tune in. Our campaign of sponsorship proudly supports Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church. Watch this.
Hello, I'm Kishai Martin, board member of Unity Coalition, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
We'd also like to thank our set designer, Concepto Modern Living, here in Fort Lauderdale, for making this set in this amazing queer church campus possible.
Finally, we thank Queer News Tonight's hotel sponsor, Best Western I-95 Fort Lauderdale. This is the closest and best choice to the famous Wilton Drive, and our host and guests stay at this LGBTQ ally partner. We encourage you to stay here when visiting South Florida.
Well, next, one of America's most important HIV/AIDS charity events is held here in South Florida, and it's fast approaching April 24th. Tonight, we are pleased to feature AHF, AIDS Healthcare Foundation, and the Florida AIDS Walk and Music Festival.
AHF's path to becoming the largest provider of HIV/AIDS care in the U.S. began with a small group of dedicated activists in Los Angeles in the 1980s. Focused on providing cutting-edge medicine and advocacy regardless of ability to pay, AHF funds its mission to rid the world of AIDS through a network of pharmacies, thrift stores, healthcare contracts, and other strategic partnerships.
Joining us tonight is Peter Povoli. He is a vital link between healthcare services he provides and representing the amazing fundraiser that AIDS Walk and Beach Festival represents. AHF supports many Florida HIV healthcare providers in the AIDS Walk by matching dollar for dollar your contribution.
Well, to tell us more about AHF, AIDS Healthcare Foundation, and the Florida AIDS Walk and Music Festival, happening on Saturday, April 24th at Fort Lauderdale Beach Park, is pharmacy and managed care specialist Peter Povoli. Welcome, Peter, to Queer News Tonight.
Thank you.
Well, we're excited about the upcoming festival. It's going to be one of the first to return in the transition that we've seen for the year. But before we get into the festival itself, tell us about, of course, everybody knows AHF, but they may not know about AHF. So tell us about what AHF is designed to do.
So AHF is now has 1.8 million people in our care worldwide, 48 countries. And we are self-funded by our pharmacies, and also a managed care program, which few people know about, called PHP, Positive Healthcare Partners. You must be HIV positive, live in Broward County or Dade County, and you're able to have your primary care physician as your infectious disease doctor in one, and that helps no copays. It relieves the obstacles to care. That's what that does. Now, along with that, we have, of course, out of the closet thrift stores. That's our model. And we have the pharmacies inside, and we have the HIV testing as well. And we have STD testing as well, and treatment on certain days and hours. AHF also has, along with the pharmacies, managed care of the healthcare centers, of course. I work at Imperial Point Hospital campus. We have 4,000 patients there. And I like to say and express that 30% of our population there is negative, HIV negative. People are asking, do I have to be positive? 30% of our population is negative. We allow their partners to come with them, and it's, up to the provider, but many of them can sit in with their partner. That's unusual.
When I want to draw attention to the soundbite. One of the fundraising mechanisms for AHF is just slightly slower, is Out of the Closet. And a lot of people are familiar with that name or have been into Out of the Closet as a kind of deluxe thrift store. And that, through donations, helps raise funds for AHF services. So many of our viewers have probably been into Out of the Closet, but not recognized that they're directly helping in funding AHF medical services.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
I love its challenge. Old is new again. I love that. I've been into the Welton Drive location many times. Peter, I understand it's been a tough year medically. The number one issue, surveys show that for the LGBTQ community, we're at the worst health moment in LGBTQ in an entire generation. In more than 20 years, this last year has been the most difficult ever. And of course, that makes sense with pandemic. I imagine medical attention and insurance and people that have lost their insurance, etc. It's been a very difficult year for LGBT. How has AHF stepped up to help our community?
I'm so happy you're asking me that. AHF has taken the approach of making sure that we do not lose our patients to care. So we went with telemedicine, telehealth, as many providers have done. And we have also worked on this back into care program. So if these patients have been lost to care, we're actually calling them and finding them and asking them if they need our help and bringing them back into care. Very important. As well as those folks that have lost their insurance or jobs are getting an income. We have a on-staff navigator, and they are working very closely with Ryan White Part A and Ryan White Part B, and we are able to offer ADAP Premium Plus. ADAP Premium Plus is where ADAP, both Ryan White Part A and B have their programs, and they actually pay the premiums for such things as Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO, and the copays are paid for by the department as well.
Awesome.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Amazing program.
As long as you make between $12,700 and $47,000 in that realm, we are able to help.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is awesome. Let's get into something that we're all very excited about.
Trina! Lil Kim!
That's right. Well, actually, before we do that, let's talk about the Wellness Center, and that's where you work.
I actually work at Imperial Point with our HIV positive patients,
Right.
But I love sharing about the Broward Wellness Center. The Broward Wellness Center is a partnership between AIDS Healthcare Foundation and the Florida Department of Health in Broward County.
Right. Right.
Okay, we see 175 to 200 people a day for free, general population.
Wow.
They walk up. We are testing for HIV, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis. We are treating for free gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis. If they are found HIV positive, they become the most important person in the room, and we get them linked to care within 72 hours in front of one of our doctors, and they are leaving that appointment with antiretrovirals if they choose. We do not push medications on people.
And they can just walk in.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes, between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And that facility is less than a mile from where we're seated.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
750 Southeast 3rd Avenue on the first floor, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday.
Excellent.
They also offer, I must add this, pre-exposure prophylaxis, as if you're at high risk and you want these medications, you can come there insured or uninsured. Insureds will not pay copays for their labs, which kind of deters people, right? It's $15, $20, and the deductible.
Yeah.
If you have an out-of-pocket deductible, you're not going to go do labs and all that jazz. It could cost you $800. It's free.
Yeah.
I'm asking everyone to please do that.
It's the number one thing that I hear about critical medical need in our community is so much concern about the out-of-pocket expense, the medication expense.
Exactly.
AHF has really stepped up to that area. And speaking of that, one of the ways that you're able to do that is April 24th.
Can I twerk now again?
Yeah, twerk now, right? Little Kim coming to the beach. Tell us about what you're doing April 24th for.
So it is the 16th annual AIDS Walk, Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale Beach will be starting Saturday, April 24th at 9 a.m. Thereabouts, the walk will start. This year, due to COVID, we're going to set up everyone off in teams, if you will, to have some social distances as the groups walk. We will have food vendors. We will have many organizations there with their tables set up, sharing information. And of course, it is crucial for many organizations, especially due to COVID and cutbacks.
Yeah, tell us about some of the organizations that participate.
Of course. Equality Florida, Latino Salud, the Pride Center at Equality Park, SAVE, SunServe, World AIDS Museum, and Educational Center.
We love all those places.
Yeah, yeah. And I must,
You just said LGBTQ South Florida. That's what you just said.
Basically.
Exactly.
and I must say this, some of these checks are as high as $500,000 to the organization.
That's amazing.
Yes, yes. One of them raised $250 and we matched it.
Yeah.
So
I always take the opportunity to focus on that, because that to me is one of the most interesting things about the Florida AIDS Walk. Of course, I'm excited about little Kim coming to the beach also, but I'm really, really excited on the fact that if you participate in the AIDS Walk, you can participate whether you walk or not, whether you're actually there or not, you can participate. Every dollar that these organizations raise, AHF matches it dollar for dollar.
yes.
That's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And interesting, this is 16th year?
Yes.
16th year. Of the last 16 years, it's interesting, you mentioned Ryan White. I bet you a very significant percentage of our audience doesn't even know who Ryan White is anymore.
This is true.
So
Wow.
over 16 years of AHF doing the Florida AIDS Walk, has there ever been a year where AHF and the AIDS Walk and the dollar for a dollar match has ever been needed more than 2020?
And now. Yeah. Yep.
Sure.
Ever.
Yep.
Sure.
So we encourage South Florida and anyone that is listening, if you follow any of those organizations, support any of those organizations, you need to reach out. And of course, you can come to the beach and twerk with little Kim. So,
And you know,
And
and
Faye.
me, and you know, we were just doing a story about LGBTQ and insurance and health, healthcare and stuff like that. Thank you for the personal touch that you guys give to our community.
Absolutely.
You know, because it's that hesitancy. Our community is so used to not being looked at like they exist, and you make every single person that walks in that room important.
We enrolled 1,400 people
yeah.
into the ACA.
Yeah.
And Ryan White and ADAP, their program, is paying the premiums.
is
These people have insurance.
Awesome. Awareness of what AHF is doing is so vitally important. We have covered AHF 20 different ways, in 21 already, because we continue to say that AHF is certainly here in South Florida, of course, Peter's involvement here in South Florida, but nationally and internationally for the LGBTQ community, AHF is one of the core of the inner circle supporters of the LGBTQ community. And we have that with great humility and gratitude for everything that AHF is doing, both medically and in terms of their fundraising efforts to help support our community, and occasionally twerking on the beach.
So I do believe I heard you said that you guys offer PrEP. Do you guys offer PEP since it is going to be a party weekend?
Absolutely. So post-exposure is PEP. That is, right now the regimen is Tivicay and Truvada, 28-day regimens. If they're insured or uninsured, we're able to get them the medications either way. If they're in from out of town and they're afraid, well, is someone going to be able to help me? We can help them. It's not a problem at all. We will give them their medications and we will use the insurance and use copay cards so there's no cost, or we will use vouchers from the manufacturer and get them the medications. Either way, they will be HIV negative when they. We will try to keep them HIV negative as they leave. Yes, absolutely.
Peter, thank you for all you do. Thank you for everything that you do at AHF. We will see everyone at the AIDS Walk and the twerking for sure.
Yeah.
So that's
And the check presentation, especially
Yes.
the check.
We've got to be there for the check presentation of course. So that is today's news for the LGBTQ community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ evening news show. Is our community important to you?
Then help us by liking, subscribing, and ringing the bell for updates. Share this news. We are the only LGBTQ television live video news in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support.
Jasmine, first time as an anchor at Queer News Tonight, you did great.
Thank you.
Did great.
My
first
first
time
time.
tonight, right. Well, I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and on behalf of anchors FayWhat and Jasmine Pryce Lords, we will see you daily, and that means tomorrow night at 7 p.m.